The session with Igor, three scientists, Papaya, Banani, and Ravioli, and their assistant Igor, who all work at Nassau, begin to take an interest in creationism. Their superiors, worried, send them to see a psychologist, Professor Fagioli, a shady character determined to get them fired by making them look insane. Waiting room. The door opens. Fagioli peeks out, his face twisted. Fagioli. Igor, it's your turn now. Fagioli's office. Igor enters, greets Fagioli, and sits down. Fagioli, good morning, Igor. Igor, good morning to you, my lord. Fagioli, I like your servile attitude, but not that smirk on your face. Aren't you worried about your job? Igor, you see, Fagioli, ever since I started working with those three, almost nothing can worry me anymore. Fagioli, by those three, you mean Papaya, Banani, and Ravioli, your colleagues, right? Igor, as you say, my lord. You know, working with my masters has made me, let's say, ready for anything. Fagioli, your servility amazes me, Igor. You even call them masters. I wonder what you'll call them when they become unemployed. I mean, when they're treated for their little issues and can resume their work here at Nassau. Igor, unemployed? Why would they become unemployed? Do you know something we don't? Fagioli, unemployed? I never said that word. When did you hear me say that? Igor, just a second ago. Fagioli visibly grows agitated. Fagioli, I never said anything like that. You must have dreamed it. Short pause. Fagioli, anyway, as I was saying, you've been sent here to lose your job, to undergo a psycho-aptitude test, as requested by higher management. Igor, see, you did it again. You said, lose your job. Fagioli, getting irritated. What are you talking about? Do you think I'm crazy? Look, the one being evaluated here is you, not me. I'm the doctor and you're the patient. Got it? Igor, yes, sir. I clearly understand that you want to get us fired. That you want to help us. Fagioli is visibly irritated and struggling to stay in control. Fagioli, stammering. Are you making fun of me, Igor? Igor, of course not. I'm here to get fired. I'm here to collaborate. Fagioli starts to twitch nervously, blinking and shrugging uncontrollably. Fagioli, stammering. I could just... Igor, fire me? Help me? Fagioli, stop mocking me. Igor, what did I say? Fagioli, you're imitating my slips. Igor, what slips? You never made any slips. Fagioli, that's right, you're right. The problem must be yours. Let me note that in my notebook. Patient Igor displays slips. Okay, good. We can continue. Igor, do you want me to tell you something about my childhood? Fagioli, hey Igor, I'm the one running this session, got it? Igor, yes sir. Fagioli, and now, let me ask the questions without interruptions. Igor, go ahead, sir. Fagioli, hey, I'm the one who says that line around here. Igor, I see, sir. I'll jot that down in my notebook. Igor pulls a pen and notebook out of his pocket and starts writing. Fagioli is completely thrown off. The scene freezes like a movie in still frame. Igor talking to the audience. Did you catch his plan? I did. This guy's no real psychologist. He's just gathering incriminating info to get us fired. But I, while the others were talking to him, hid behind the door and eavesdropped, so I already know which strategy to use. If this nutcase is a psychoanalyst, then I'm an astronaut. waiting room. Paco, your assistant is quite funny. He really likes to joke around. Papaya, yeah. But sometimes he's hard to handle with all his sarcasm. Ravioli. Hey, something just came to my mind. Banani, what is it? Ravioli. If Noah's flood really happened, and if the Bible tells the truth, then the Tower of Babel must have existed too. Paco. Exactly. At first, as we can assume, everyone spoke the same language because they all came from the same big family. Banani. But today we have hundreds of languages, all different from each other. Paco. Exactly. And that happened during the construction of the Tower of Babel. God had commanded people to spread out and fill the earth, but they wanted to stay together and build the tower to make a name for themselves. So God confused their language, and they were forced to stop building and to scatter, just as God had told them to from the beginning. Ravioli. Yeah, but how did the families understand each other? Paco. It's believed that each family spoke the same language within itself. Papaya. But then if it really happened, there must be evidence. Paco. One fascinating aspect of the Babel episode described in Genesis 11 is the corroborating evidence we can observe in cultures and languages all over the world. For example, did you know that many cultures have ancient legends similar to the story of Babel? Even though these traditions don't exactly match the biblical account, they're similar enough to suggest a shared event that happened long ago, before these cultures split apart. Part 2, Fagioli's office. Fagioli. Well, Igor, here on your file, I read that you're an excellent assistant, if it weren't for that little issue. With creationism, and you're always attentive and obedient. That's something I personally appreciate in an assistant. However, your main problem is sarcasm. Igor, if sarcasm is a problem, then it's unsolvable. Fagioli. And why is that? Igor. Because the only way to solve it would be a world without idiots. Impossible. Fagioli. Igor, I see you don't understand how serious this is. If you don't take this problem seriously, you'll lose your job. Igor. And I won't have to spend nights in airports anymore. Or travel to the other side of the world. Or make a fool of myself in public. Fagioli. This attitude of yours irritates me. In life, one must be serious. Those who laugh are drifters. They should go dig the earth a bit to learn. You see this hoe? Fagioli pulls out a hoe from under his desk. Bits of dirt and grass fall onto his paperwork. Fagioli, I always carry it with me. And when someone starts joking, Igor, wait, I get the rest. Don't worry anymore, my lord. I'll try not to joke again, though I'm not sure I'll succeed. After all, you said yourself it's my problem. Fagioli regains his composure for a moment. Fagioli, that's true, you're right. You probably make jokes because you're nervous. It must be your way of releasing tension, and I, as a distinguished doctor, must take that into account. I apologize for threatening you with a hoe. Igor, apology accepted, sir. Fagioli, very good. Now, can you tell me when was the first time you made a sarcastic remark? Igor, yes, of course, my most distinguished lord. It happened when I was a child, about 10 years old. You see, Fagioli, my family was very large. I had 11 siblings. On Sundays, we even played like a soccer team. During the week, of course, we went to school. And Professor, there was this one brother of mine, Roger, whom I couldn't stand. Fagioli, and why? The scene freezes like a paused video. Igor turns to the audience. Igor, you see that? He's falling for it completely. This story, I'm making it up on the spot. Keep watching and see what happens next. The scene resumes. Igor, because he only ate junk food, his favorite thing was, what's it called again? Hamburgers. Fagioli takes the bait instantly. Fagioli, what? He only ate junk food? That's unthinkable, an outrage to proper nutrition. Now I understand why you couldn't stand him. You had every reason in the world. Igor keeps spinning the web. Igor, you see, sir, my favorite food is fish with broccoli. I'm a fan of healthy, genuine eating. When my brother pulled out one of those greasy, stinky hamburgers, I nearly threw up. Fagioli, that's right, Igor. Now you're speaking my language. That must have been a horrible experience. And did you scold him? Igor. You see, Fagioli, my brother didn't even listen to me. He always had one of those cassette players blasting in his headphones. I think he was practically deaf. He was a fan of that kind of music. What do they call it again? Rock and roll. Fagioli. Those rock fans, lazy bums who've never held a hoe in their life. They're leeches. I'd hit them with a hoe. Igor. Easy, Professor. My father used other methods. Fagioli. Curious. What kind? Igor. Old-fashioned punishments. Kneeling on dried peas, ruler on the hands, sent to bed without dinner. Fagioli starts clapping. Fagioli. Ah, the old-fashioned ways of teaching. With those stern corporal punishments. You know my father made me kneel on peas when I didn't clean my room properly? Igor. Really? The plan is working, but Fagioli suddenly snaps back to reality. Fagioli. Ah, yes. But we're here for you, right, Igor? Go on, tell me more about this experience. Igor. You see, Professor, in our family we were all very tidy, as our father demanded. But this brother of mine, Roger, kept his room a total mess, and ignored my mother's request to fix the situation. Fagioli. And how did it end? Did he stop? Igor. Unfortunately, no. Not even the old punishments worked. Roger kept acting the same way. Fagioli. What a sad story. That must have been hard for you. You know, once my father did a surprise inspection in the middle of the night. That day I was so tired from digging the fields that I forgot to align my alarm clock parallel to the nightstand in the wall. My father always carried a protractor. Fagioli stands and starts telling the story while staring out the window. Igor walks up and gently guides him to lie down on the office couch. Then he pulls up a chair and starts taking notes in his notebook. Fagioli. And so he made us kneel on the peas until the next day. When I stood up, my knees hurt so much I couldn't even walk. That's when I understood how even the smallest details are essential. Scene freezes again. Igor to the audience. You see, it's working. The roles have reversed now. I'm the psychoanalyst and he's the patient. Boss, waiting room, ravioli. What other evidence do we have? Paco. The architectural similarities of many ancient structures could also be a connection to Babel. Although scripture doesn't give many details about the appearance of the famous tower, many believe it was a ziggurat-style structure. Papaya. If that's the case, it could explain the similarities between pyramids, earth mounds, and ziggurats found all over the world. Paco. Exactly. In fact, Those who scattered from Babel likely took with them the memory of such a grand architectural design. Part 3. Fagioli's Office. Igor is psychoanalyzing Professor Fagioli. Igor, tell me, Fagioli. This love for fish with broccoli, was it always your favorite dish or did you learn to like it? Fagioli. You see, Igor, when I was little, just like that slacker brother of yours, Roger, I hated fish with broccoli. Just the thought of taking a bite made me want to throw up. The smell of fish when my mother was cooking made me nauseous. But my father forced me to finish the fish or else there would be one of those good old corporal punishments. Once, for example, he grabbed his billiard cue and hit me 30 times on the hands. 1 strike for every gram of leftover fish. Igor, he waited? Fagioli. Yes, and his scale never lied. You see, Igor, junk food causes health problems. And those who eat too much of it die. They die and leave behind wives and children. Once, while we were kneeling on dried peas, my father made us watch a medical documentary on healthy eating. The doctor was performing an autopsy on a patient who had died of excess cholesterol. When I saw that liver being dissected, covered in a disgusting layer of fat, I realized that was the punishment for those who don't follow dietary discipline. And that's when I understood that fish was the best for me. From that moment on, I started appreciating it to be healthy and strong like my father. Igor, you showed me a hoe you keep here in your office. Fagioli gestures to get up. Fagioli, it's the family hoe, a real treasure. I inherited it from my father, as tradition demands. Want to see it again? Igor, no, please, stay seated. Tell me how you feel about tilling the earth. Fagioli, tilling the earth is important. Everyone should do it. My father taught me that a real man tills the earth. If you don't till the earth, you're a good for nothing. And you do till the earth, right, Igor? Igor, of course. Of course, obviously. But please, go on with your story. Fagioli. Ah, yes, I was saying. I learned to value the hoe on Sundays and holidays when my father would gather the whole family at dawn to work the land together. Until sunset. When lunchtime came at 11, Igor. Actually, lunch is at 12. Fagioli. Not for us farm workers. Anyway. At 11, we'd sit on a flannel sheet and eat boiled wheat or ears of corn. Igor, truly a healthy habit. Didn't you also bring some boiled fish? Fagioli, no. You see, boiled fish must be savored slowly, not during a work day. When we got home, that's what was waiting for us on the table, healthy, and fresh fish with broccoli, tasty and tender, melting in your mouth. Igor, my mouth's watering. Fagioli, I have a little container of fish with me. Want some? Papaia tasted it. Igor, no, thank you. Not during work hours. Fagioli, you're right, of course. We mustn't get distracted. Igor, please continue, Fagioli. You were talking about how important it is to till the soil and eat fish. Fagioli, you see, Igor, there's just one small problem I have from time to time. When I see a patch of soil with weeds, I can't resist the urge to pull out my hoe and work that land. Just the thought of those weeds sitting there, occupying land that could otherwise be clean, I don't know how to explain it. I can't think about anything else. One time there was a bus strike and I had to walk home. The road is lined with trees. You know those sidewalks with the little square of dirt where the tree lives? Well, I cleaned up all 156 of them. That night I got home at 5 in the morning. Igor, that's a bit of a problem, Fagioli. If you want to stay here at Nassau as a psychologist, you can't afford distractions like obsessing over unworked soil. And that soil isn't even yours, it's public land. According to the rules, you're not the one responsible for it. So by doing that, you broke the rules. Fagioli, crying. It's true, Igor, rules are everything and I broke them. Igor, don't cry, Fagioli. Something good happened to you today. I'm here to fire you, help you deal with these problems you have. Part 3. Fagioli's office. Igor is psychoanalyzing Professor Fagioli. Igor, tell me, Fagioli. This love for fish with broccoli, was it always your favorite dish or did you learn to like it? Fagioli. You see, Igor, when I was little, just like that slacker brother of yours, Roger, I hated fish with broccoli. Just the thought of taking a bite made me want to throw up. The smell of fish when my mother was cooking made me nauseous. But my father forced me to finish the fish or else there would be one of those good old corporal punishments. Once, for example, he grabbed his billiard cue and hit me 30 times on the hands. 1 strike for every gram of leftover fish. Igor, he waited? Fagioli. Yes, and his scale never lied. You see, Igor, junk food causes health problems. And those who eat too much of it die. They die and leave behind wives and children. Once, while we were kneeling on dried peas, my father made us watch a medical documentary on healthy eating. The doctor was performing an autopsy on a patient who had died of excess cholesterol. When I saw that liver being dissected, covered in a disgusting layer of fat, I realized that was the punishment for those who don't follow dietary discipline. And that's when I understood that fish was the best for me. From that moment on, I started appreciating it to be healthy and strong like my father. Igor, you showed me a hoe you keep here in your office. Fagioli gestures to get up. Fagioli, it's the family hoe, a real treasure. I inherited it from my father, as tradition demands. Want to see it again? Igor, no, please, stay seated. Tell me how you feel about tilling the earth. Fagioli, tilling the earth is important. Everyone should do it. My father taught me that a real man tills the earth. If you don't till the earth, you're a good for nothing. And you do till the earth, right, Igor? Igor, of course. Of course, obviously. But please, go on with your story. Fagioli. Ah, yes, I was saying. I learned to value the hoe on Sundays and holidays when my father would gather the whole family at dawn to work the land together. Until sunset. When lunchtime came at 11, Igor. Actually, lunch is at 12. Fagioli. Not for us farm workers. Anyway. At 11, we'd sit on a flannel sheet and eat boiled wheat or ears of corn. Igor, truly a healthy habit. Didn't you also bring some boiled fish? Fagioli, no. You see, boiled fish must be savored slowly, not during a work day. When we got home, that's what was waiting for us on the table, healthy and fresh fish with broccoli, tasty and tender, melting in your mouth. Igor, my mouth's watering. Fagioli, I have a little container of fish with me. Want some? Papaia tasted it. Igor, no, thank you. Not during work hours. Fagioli, you're right, of course. We mustn't get distracted. Igor, please continue, Fagioli. You were talking about how important it is to till the soil and eat fish. Fagioli, you see, Igor, there's just one small problem I have from time to time. When I see a patch of soil with weeds, I can't resist the urge to pull out my hoe and work that land. Just the thought of those weeds sitting there, occupying land that could otherwise be clean. I don't know how to explain it. I can't think about anything else. One time there was a bus strike and I had to walk home. The road is lined with trees. You know those sidewalks with the little square of dirt where the tree lives? Well, I cleaned up all 156 of them. That night I got home at 5 in the morning. Igor, that's a bit of a problem, Fagioli. If you want to stay here at Nassau as a psychologist, you can't afford distractions like obsessing over unworked soil. And that soil isn't even yours, it's public land. According to the rules, you're not the one responsible for it. So by doing that, you broke the rules. Fagioli, crying. It's true, Igor, rules are everything and I broke them. Igor, don't cry, Fagioli. Something good happened to you today. I'm here to fire you, help you deal with these problems you have. Part 4. Fagioli's Office. Igor is psychoanalyzing Fagioli. Igor, based on what you've said, my diagnosis is that you suffer from a form of hobrachophrenia. Fagioli, is it serious? Igor, fairly. I'll have to refer you to a specialist. Fagioli, and is there nothing we can do? Igor, well, there is one thing, but I don't know. Fagioli, tell me, Igor. Igor, we could try hypnotizing you and see if we can bring back some of those repressed traumas. Fagioli, hypnotize me. How will you do that? Igor, it's simple. Watch this pendulum and listen to my voice. Igor pulls out a makeshift pendulum and begins hypnotizing Fagioli. Igor, all right, Fagioli, can you tell me if the sessions are being recorded? Fagioli, robotic voice. Yes. Igor, can you point me to where the recorder is? Fagioli points toward a cabinet disguised as a bookshelf. Igor opens the doors and finds the video recorder with wires connected to security cameras. Igor, why were we called here? Fagioli, the higher-ups asked me to evaluate whether you're fit to continue working for Nasal. Igor, and what do you think? Fagioli, I think all of you should be fired. My goal is to gather as much evidence as possible against you. Igor, so you're not here to help us? Fagioli, no, I'm here to get you all fired. Igor, and what do the higher-ups think about that? Fagioli, those spineless fools don't have the guts to kick you out. They still don't realize there's no place at Naciel for creationism sympathizers. Igor, so you're making the decision for them and altering the test results to make us look bad? Fagioli, exactly. And I can't wait to see you all walk out of the observatory, you and your nonsense. Igor, turning to the camera. Very well, you heard it. Igor ejects the tape from the device and hides it under his lab coat. Then he takes another similar-looking tape and swaps it into the recorder. Igor, all right, Fagioli. I'll count to 3, and when you wake up, you'll remember nothing of what we said. You'll be convinced all the sessions are over, and you'll feel cheerful and in a great mood. 1, 2, 3. Fagioli snaps out of the hypnosis and returns to sit at his desk. Fagioli, perfect. Igor, your session is over. You can go. Igor, pretending. Yes, my lord. Fagioli, good, then get back to work. You'll hear from us. Have a nice day. Igor, a nice day to you too, my lord. Igor leaves the room. Waiting room. Paco. Finally, even linguistics confirms the separation of languages that took place at Babel. Ravioli, Linguistics. That's the subject that studies languages, I guess? Paco. Exactly, ravioli. Linguistics studies how languages are born, how they evolve, and how they're connected. And research shows that the number of language families traces back to a figure comparable to the ethnic groups listed in Genesis 10. Papaya. That's in sharp contrast to what we'd expect if the evolutionary theory were true. Part 5. Fagioli's office. Fagioli, alone in his office, is about to write the report on the scientists. Fagioli, there we go. Now let's start writing the report. He walks over to the cabinet with the video recorder, opens it, and stops the recording. Then he takes out the videotape and places it on his desk. Fagioli, I can't wait to write this report and list all the insane nonsense these idiots confessed to me. Right, Tony? Tony. Poor idiots. They confessed. Fagioli. Those fools actually believed I was going to help them, and they gave me so much compromising info. Getting them fired will be a piece of cake. Tony. Fire the fools. Can't wait. Fagioli. And now, let's start editing their video. Tony. Yeah, and let's cut out a couple of your slip-ups. Fagioli. What slip-ups? What are you talking about? I never have any raptures, I mean slip-ups. Tony. Haha, see? You did it again. You said rapture instead of slip-up. Fagioli. Silent sock. Tony, why? What'll you do? Threaten me with the hoe? I am your hand, remember? Haha. Fagioli. Stop it. Tony. And you know why you act this way? It's because of your father's curse. Haha. Fagioli. That's not true. The curse didn't get me. Tony. Oh yeah? Then how do you explain the slip-ups? Fagioli. Enough. You're just a sock. Tony. Just a sock, huh? No, I'm part of you. The part that has the guts you don't. Ah ha ha. Fagioli. You're lying. You don't exist. Tony. Coward. Ah ha ha. Getting bullied by a sock. Fagioli. That's it. I'll show you who's boss. Fagioli yanks Tony off his hand and throws him hard to the ground. Then he grabs the hoe and starts smashing it down. Bam. Smash. Fagioli. Take that and that. Father, stop that immediately. What is this clown show? Fagioli freezes, staring at his hallucination. Fagioli. Sorry, sir, it's the sock. He was provoking me. Father, I don't care. When will you stop playing with that sock? On your knees on the peas. Now. Fagioli obeys and kneels on dried peas still on the floor. Suddenly, the TV in the cabinet turns on. It's the psychologist. Psychologist. Fagioli, what are you doing? Punishing yourself again? Fagioli. No, not on my own. My father told me to. Psychologist. How many times do I have to tell you that the mind is in control, not the hoe? Fagioli, getting up. Yes, you're right. Mind is control. Control comes above discipline. Psychologist. Good. Now write your report. Those 4 need to be thrown out, and we know how. Fagioli, rubbing his hands. Yes, we know how. Igor, voiceover. Fagioli gets mocked, even by Tony. You could say the sock is always one step ahead. And he denies his slip-ups to the bitter end. Yes, Fagioli never makes mistakes, except when he talks, thinks, or breathes. Fagioli threatens Tony, who keeps teasing him. But Tony reminds him, he's his hand. And it's true, Tony, you are his hand. And even she's ashamed to be seen with him. Anyway, Fagioli usually hits himself with the hoe on the feet, not the hands. The cracked tiles after each tough session had become routine for Fagioli. Nasal even hired a personal tiler just for him. So every time he hits rock bottom, at least it gets a nice finish. Good thing he still had hallucinations of Alfonso. Nasal was counting on it. Banani. How? Igor. He saved them money on tiles. They even added it to the monthly budget spreadsheet under the line item. Miscellaneous hallucinations. Igor Special. Igor Fagioli argues with a sock, attacks it with a hoe, and gets scolded by a hallucination. Basically, all of Fagioli's stories are the same. Zero creativity. Banani. What are you talking about? Igor, yeah, because they all start with Fagioli hoeing something and end with his father putting him on his knees on dry peas. While Fagioli is being punished for hoeing a sock, the TV turns on by itself. There we go. The only one missing was the psychologist. Now we can officially call it an advanced case of group psychosis. Banani. Imagine if they started a band. Igor, brilliant Banani, Fagioli on the hoe, Alfonso tossing peas while dancing, Tony singing falsetto, and the psychologist on special effects with the TV static. More than a band, it sounds like a botched exorcism. Scene: Fagioli's office. Igor's imagination. Psychedelic lights flicker. Fake smoke spills from a bowl of baking soda and vinegar. The floor is covered with dried peas. A crooked sign reads, "Live from the Asylum, the Brunswick Band," filming their first YouTube video. Fagioli, in glam rock farm gear, hoe slung over his shoulder. 1, 2, 3, hoe. Tony, from Fagioli's left hand shrill falsetto. "I am the hand that speaks, the mind that wheezes." Alfonso, at the doorway, stiffly dancing while throwing handfuls of dried peas to the beat. "Everyone on their knees on the peas." Psychologist, in the background inside the flickering TV, sinking static to the rhythm. "Burrs the mind is a room with no exit." Zaf. Part 6. Fagioli's office. Fagioli takes out his notebook. "Fagioli, here it is, I've written everything down. But to be sure I don't miss any details, I'll rewatch the sessions and write the report step by step." Fagioli inserts the tape back into the video recorder and rewinds it. Then he presses play on the remote and fixes his gaze on the monitor. Fagioli, what is this? On the screen, a gardening documentary recorded years ago by Fagioli is playing. Fagioli, there must be a mistake. Fagioli realizes the tapes have been swapped. Fagioli, this can't be. When did this happen? He double-checks his notes. Fagioli, there are no notes here about Igor. It must have been him. I only took some initial notes, but the rest of the session is missing. Igor. Fagioli finds a gardening documentary instead of the session recordings and thinks there's been a mistake. There's no mistake, Fagioli. Your sessions are basically identical to that documentary anyway. Igor Special. Part 2. Igor. Voiceover. Now satisfy my curiosity. Was that gardening documentary taken from a TV show, or did Fagioli record it himself? Scene: Fagioli's garden. Igor's imagination. Shaky amateur footage with a handheld camera. Fagioli, in a lab coat, holds a hoe and speaks in front of a vegetable bed. Hey, Fagioli. Today we'll talk about the proper watering technique for father. Fagioli changing his voice. You don't water like that. You flooded half the garden, now the roots are rotting. Fagioli, I'm trying to improve water circulation. Father, improve? What you need is less talking and more hard work. And those plants there, the zucchinis. You planted them too close, they can't breathe. Fagioli, maybe you're right. Father, and it's not over. You forgot to hoe around the carrots. How do you think they'll grow? Fagioli lowers his head. Yes, sir. Father, you messed up everything. And now, knees on the dry peas until you learn to be a real farmer. Fagioli awkwardly kneels on the dry peas scattered on the ground. The camera shakes, and the scene closes as his figure bends under the weight of the punishment. Igor, voiceover, sarcastic. Like I said, starts with the hoe, ends up on the peas. Waiting room. Banani. So, do these things prove the story of the Tower of Babel? Paco? No, but they don't need to. Because God's word is trustworthy, we can be sure that the events in Genesis 11 really happened. Papaya. However, these are significant corroborating evidences we can refer to when skeptics try to relegate the first chapters of Scripture to mere mythology. The door opens. Igor comes out of Fagioli's office. Igor, showing the videotape. Quick, it was just as I thought. Fagioli wanted to get us fired and make us look crazy. But here I have proof that clears us. Papaya, how? What do you mean? Igor, no time to explain. We have to show this recording to the boss, before Fagioli realizes it's missing. The four rush out of the waiting room, heading towards the boss's office. We are in one of the corridors where the four walk briskly. Papaya, I hope you know what you're doing, Igor. Our jobs are hanging by a thread. Igor, more than a thread, I'd say by a magnetic tape. Anyway, don't worry, I'm not you, so you can relax. Part 7. Fagioli's office. Minutes later. Fagioli has realized that Igor tricked him, although he doesn't remember how it happened. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. Fagioli, who is it? The door opens, it's security. Fagioli, very good guys. I was about to call you. You need to get Igor and the other scientists. They tricked me. Go get them. Security? Sorry, Professor, but we can't help you. We've been ordered to escort you out of the building immediately. Gather your things and come with us without trouble. Fagioli's phone rings an incoming video call. Fagioli, it's the boss. Security, go ahead, answer it. Fagioli, yes, hello? Boss, Fagioli, you're fired. Pack your things and leave immediately. Fagioli, but why? What did I do? Boss, Igor showed us the tape and we discovered your plan. Fagioli, what plan, sir? Boss, don't play dumb. Igor hypnotized you and you confessed everything. We had complete trust in your professionalism, and you tried to deceive us all. Not to mention the threats with that hoe. You're crazy and dangerous. So now you're out, and tell me, who's the softy now? Fagioli's mask falls. Fagioli, indignant. You, useless intellectuals, parasites of society. You will never understand what it means to hoe the soil and eat healthy. All you can do is eat that junk food while writing your, what do you call them? Mathematical formulas. This is not real work. Real work is with the hoe, like my father taught me. You should kneel on chickpeas to understand. Fagioli pulls out the sock from his pocket. Tony. Fagioli in falsetto voice. Get him, he's crazy, a few screws loose. Father. Fagioli changing voice. Serves you right, Fagioli. Donkey, get back to hoeing. Still delirious, security drags him out of the observatory.